Good morning or afternoon. I don't know when I'm gonna post this yet, so hello. I'm just gonna straight up tell you, today's video is not an easy word for me or for anyone. So if you're not looking to be challenged, don't watch this video. Well, maybe it won't be challenging for you, maybe that's just a me thing, but yeah, so let's get into it. So with these videos, I want to be talking about things that I really genuinely feel like the Lord is asking me to talk about. And so on Saturday I started praying about this week and what I wanted to speak, what I felt like the Lord was telling me to say, because I just didn't really have any direction. I've gotten a lot of great ideas that I'm passionate about, but I don't want to do them until I feel like the Lord is telling me to do them, if that makes sense. So I was like, I don't really know what I'm going to do this week. And then I woke up on Sunday morning, and I just want to be honest for a second. I hate doing church from home, and maybe that is a terrible thing to say, but it's really hard for me to focus. I'm just like really struggling with it. So if that's you, you're not alone, because I'm having the toughest time with it and I can't wait to go back to church. But this week, I was watching Ethos, and they were talking about basically like, is Jesus enough for you? And that is something that, like, I think we all hear the question, like, is Jesus enough for you? And we say yes, he is, but is that the truth? And I think if we are honest with ourselves, he's not. And that's a hard thing that we need to check and we need to figure out for ourselves. When I tell you I am far from perfect in this arena, I truly couldn't be farther. I'm horrible at it. And the answer to that question rarely in my life has been yes. And Jesus has taken me on several different journeys to show me that that is like one of the big things that I fail in my faith. I had someone ask, or a couple people actually tell me to share my testimony on this, and there probably will come a day that I do that, but I want my testimony more to be like something I talk about as it's relevant. And I felt like I had gotten a good hold on Jesus being enough. And then I graduated from college, and my dreams, my goals had all changed. I wasn't in a rush to get married. I, knew that my worth was in Jesus. My new goal was just to get the job that I wanted doing youth ministry. That was it. I had no doubts it was going to happen. I was fully confident that I had nothing to worry about. And I started applying for jobs and started getting rejected. And at first it was like, oh yeah, no, it's fine, like the right job's gonna come. I thought the right job was gonna come, and then it started to be this, I don't know, like I started to doubt my calling. I started to doubt really like everything about myself. And I didn't know what was next. And it was truly like one of the hardest things that I've ever had to reconcile was separating my calling from it, because I still believe that that is what I'm called to do. And so time just like has kept going on, and my question to God is just like continue to be like, why? Like when I was 18 years old, this is what you told me I was going to do with my life. And, then I got, the prideful side of me that's like, I did this, and I did this, and I did this, and I did this, and I did this. And I did all these things that I was supposed to do. And why is it now not happening the way that it's supposed to? And that's my pride. And I had all these conversations with God and just struggled so deeply with it. And then all of a sudden, there were a couple things that I started to realize he was teaching me. Again, mind you, he's tried to teach me these things multiple times, and I just can't wrap my head around it. But one is that we are called to surrender fully and give our lives fully to him, no matter what. That was number one. And number two was that I needed to grasp that Jesus himself was enough. Despite having the job I wanted, despite having the boyfriend that I wanted, despite having the friends that I wanted, despite having the life I wanted, Jesus himself is enough. And it's a hard thing to wrestle with. And part of the reason that it is so hard is because it's so contrary to what the world tells us. And that's what's hard, is sometimes these things that we're taught growing up, they're not even taught in a bad way or taught by the world. They're taught by church. And, we're told, like, you grow up, you get married, you have the perfect job, then you have your children, and then you grow old, and that's how it's supposed to go. And so we've been programmed to think that that's the way life is supposed to be, and programmed to think that we aren't full and we haven't made it, and life isn't enough until those things happen. And that's not the truth, because the truth is that Jesus is meant to be our everything. And Jesus is meant to be enough despite whether or not you ever get those things. And some of us won't. And Jesus is enough, and Jesus is your foundation, and he's all you want. When you don't get the things that you're hoping for and the things that you think you need, it's okay. Because Jesus is your life source, and Jesus is your sustainer, and he's enough for you. And we've been taught contrary to that. So it's no wonder that it's such a hard thing for us to grasp the beauty that comes when we understand it and we decide to live fully into that, is that life and full life is not dependent on your circumstances, and your circumstances will fail you, period. And when they do, if Jesus is enough and Jesus is all you need in this life, you won't have emptiness inside of you when that happens. And so when, you don't get the job that you've been hoping for and planning for, you're okay. And when you don't get the boyfriend, or he breaks up with you, or he betrays you, or whatever, when that happens, it hurts, and it's not fun, but you're okay. Because Jesus is your everything. And when you get bad news, and you get bad health, and those things happen in your life, it sucks. And it's not gonna be easy, but you're gonna be okay. And you're gonna be okay because Jesus is your everything. And it's the only truth that we can cling to that's not gonna fail us. And so, we've got to figure out how to become people that live into that, and that spend time with Jesus because we want him to be our entire world. And we spend time with Jesus because we want to be full, and because we love him, and we love to be in his presence. And until we have this yearning in our heart for Him above everything else, we're not experiencing life to the full yet. And so that's my challenge, is that we as people learn how to live fully into God and learn how to be with Him at all times. And not just when we're praying at night before we go to bed, and not just when we pray right before we eat dinner, or not just when we're at church on Sunday mornings, but He becomes our lifestyle. He becomes our life source. Everything that we do flows out of our relationship with Jesus, because He is our everything. And I haven't figured it out yet. And if I'm being honest with you, my answer to my question on Sunday of, is Jesus your everything, is no. But I want Him to be. And I'm trying to get there. And it's a hard path, because I am a human. Shocking. I know everyone is shocked to hear that. But I'm human, and you're human, and we're never going to get it perfect. But we can be making steps and taking steps to living that way. And that's my challenge. And it's not easy, and every single person that watches this, I'm praying for you. Every single day. Because this is part of what I feel like the Lord is calling me to do, and I'm going to do it. And so thank you for watching. I'm walking this crazy life with you, and it's going to be okay. Because God is still good, and He's still reigning. And that is a